Welcome to Recovering Addict. I am LT and I am an alcoholic addict.
I am Felice, married to an alcoholic addict.
She had to live with me during my drunken addiction. Luckily, she didn't know me in my early 20s when I was a meth addict, when I was out robbing, stealing, and cheating and all that kind of good stuff, which landed me a year in jail, 3 years of probation, drug tests, and yes, I got a felony on my record. That's me. I'm a druggie. I'm a drunk. I'm a drug addict. But you know what? I'm in recovery now and I'm a part of a community and I love it. Linky knows what's up.
Love it. Yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah, so thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, what you can expect is a channel that is dedicated to supporting you if you are still suffering, a channel that's dedicated to those who are in recovery and want to learn more. We go over legit doctor books. Like right now, we just finished Addictive Thinking. We're going through Addictive Personality. And today I'm going to touch on both of these. So what you can expect from today is in a minute, we're going to say hello to everybody. At 8:15, we're going to look at the question in the Discord. Great question from one of our own here at SOAR, Chelsea. And then we're going to jump right into guilt and shame from her question, right on the content of the channel. Rolling through 8:30, we're going to continue through our book, Addictive Thinking. And about 8:40, as usual, we're going to hear Cassie's quote of the day. Then we'll finish it up. And usually we go through NA at the end of the day. But first, we're going to read Kindle, out of my Kindle, the 24-hour a day. And today is August 25th. And here is the AA thought of the day. And this is so true. And this is going to help you. I think step 5. Now, after I read this, I was like, wow, that's what step 5 is all about. Helping us to be honest with somebody else in a nice, personal, private, safe setting, giving us the courage to be honest with others when we finally get to steps 8 and 9, right? Because it takes courage to go tell somebody you're sorry. On top of telling them you're sorry, you're making amends, which is totally different than just saying, I'm sorry, like we've said 100 million times, right? Listen to this. AA thought of the day. Unless we discuss our defects with another person, we do not acquire enough humility, fearlessness, and honesty to really get the program. We must be entirely honest with somebody if we expect to live happily in this world. We must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. We pocket our pride and we go into it, illuminating every twist of character and every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we can look the world in the eyes. Here's a question for us all. Have I discussed all my defects with another person? Have you? If you haven't, I suggest you give it a shot. And that's going to help you gain the courage to go tell people you're sorry. Help you learn honesty. It's going to help you learn humility. It's going to help you put your pride in your pocket, drop your ego, and take responsibility. We're going to look at the definition of responsibility because getting over shame and understanding the difference between shame and guilt and actually start making amends has a lot to do with responsibility. And us addicts and alcoholics, we now have to take responsibility for our actions. We can't be blamed for our addictive disease, right? It's called a disease. A lot of people call it. Link has diabetes insipidus. I can't get mad at him for having diabetes insipidus. It's a part of it. He has to take medicine for it. Just like us, we have to treat our disease. But if we don't maintain, we don't recover, we don't get involved and take the necessary steps and use the tools to stay in recovery, then we are responsible for our actions. Okay. Here's our meditation of the day.
So you said honesty. You take the truth, you crumple it up. It's like crumpling up a piece of paper. It'll never be that flat, same piece of paper ever again. It'll always have that one crinkle in it.
Yep, that's trust, isn't it, bud? It's hard to get that trust back. So here's our meditation of the day. Never yield to weariness of the spirit. At times, the world's cares and distractions will intrude, and the spirit will become weak. At times like this, carry on, and soon the spirit will become strong again. God's spirit is always with you to replenish and to renew. None ever sincerely sought God's help in vain. Physical weariness and exhaustion make a time of rest and communion with God more necessary. When you are overcome by temporal conditions that you cannot control, keep quiet, wait for the power of the Spirit to flow back in you. And now here's our prayer of the day. I pray that I may not speak or act in the midst of emotional upheaval. I pray that I may wait until the tempest is past.
Very good prayer.
That is out of the 24-hour a day. We will say hi for about 10 minutes. get into our Discord question of the day. And at the end, like I said before, at the beginning of the show, I like to read AA. At the end of the show, I like to read NA. We haven't read NA for a while because my app got taken away. So I'm going to have to find it on there.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to let Felice say hello to everybody.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Sky, let's murk a great life tonight.
We're murking it best we can.
Hey, Desmond, Amanda, hello. Mary Stoddard, glad you weren't late today.
Awesome. Set another timer.
Hey,
That is
set the
cool.
Timer. Lish, hello. Hey, Teeter, sanitizer for Merc. Yes, I didn't sneeze this time.
Blew out her back. Jake Brown, what's up? You know what's cool? I just saw Jake's name, and I was thinking about this the other day. I was kind of meditating and just rolling through thoughts of the last week or two. And in recovery, you meet some people that are addicts. We walk into this program, we already know we're addicts, right? You're instantly like best friends. Like you just click, bam, you just pick. It's like if you ever had one of those best friends that you haven't seen for 10 years and all of a sudden you run into them again and it's just like you picked up where you left off. Nothing ever really, that's how me and Jake were. We just connected and just like, whoop, we're off and running. Oh, I guess we're buddies.
We're best friends now.
I love it. I love recovery. Jake, you're freaking awesome.
This reminds me of being kids. You want to be my best friend?
Yeah.
Hello. Hey,
Raina.
Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
Lori. Jana. Cherie. Love seeing you.
Oh, right on,
hey,
Cherie.
Soupy.
Soupy. Felice
Hey
was
again,
asking
Raina.
about you.
I was wondering where you've been. Aaron. Love seeing you.
Hey,
here.
sister.
Did I say hi to you, Mark? If not, hello.
We love Merc.
Hi again, Jana. Facebook user. Love it.
Remember, if you're watching this on the private Facebook
Sapper.
page, your comments and name will be held in anonymity, and we will keep it that way. But if you do not want your name anonymous, you can either jump to the YouTube side, the Facebook page, or just go up into the comments and where it says see more, you will be able to click the StreamYard and give them permission to use your name. But it's up to you. We have an anonymity out there for a reason, and if you wish to use it, we will keep it that way.
And I know who you are, and we've seen you before. Hey, Tara.
Hey, what's up, Tiara? She's doing
Oh,
good.
there you are. See? JJ Johnson.
JJ Johnson, flipping us off again.
Teeter, hello. Heather, hello. Green-eyed cat, good to see you.
Hey, what's up, B?
Yep. Everywhere. Take him everywhere. He'll love it.
That's
He
so
will
cool.
absolutely love it. Hey, Naomi. Everyone happy to be in tune. Hope y'all had a good day. Shout out Sacred Hearts Fountain House and your fam and friends.
Yes.
May,
Shout out to
Benji,
y'all.
Myrna, and Lissa. Always, and Fondy. Love shouting you guys out. You guys are amazing. Erlina, beautiful beginnings. Hello.
Awesome.
We
Welcome.
love that you're here. Vic J.
Vic J 180. Awesome. Glad you're here.
Glad
Thank you
you're
for
here, Vic.
Yeah, if you're new here, if you're watching in the digital bushes, at least jump into the comments so we can say hello to you. And if you are brand new here, this is your first time watching, throw out your sobriety date. Let us congratulate you or what it is you want to learn from recovery and how we can support you, because we are a group dedicated for that. I mean, we're up here talking, we're on the TV, whatever you want to call it, but there's a group that is just ready to just love and support. Michelle, what's going on?
What up, Michelle? Aw, love you, Raina. Carla Bell, hello.
Hey, Carla. Good to see you.
Yep, new podcast. Get down with Jake
Coming
Brown.
soon. Get down with the Jake Brown.
Jonathan, hello. Teresa, hello.
What's up,
Good to see
Jonathan?
you, Adrian. Can't wait to send you your bookmark. He says, oh, stuff. I feel the same, brother.
Oh, stuff.
Hey, Lori. What up, youngs? Glad you're here.
Hey, Mark and Benny.
Watching with the boys at the property.
Hi, kids.
There's a shout out from Cherie to all the ladies out there.
Right on. Green-eyed cat's not a lady, though.
It's got a girl name.
But he's down under with her.
He said, and all the boys.
Okay, whatever.
David, hello.
Hey, David. Glad you're here. Nice to meet you.
Darcel, Share Squad. Thank
Oh,
you.
Bamski.
Share it out.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. You never know who this could help. We may read, you know what's cool is like, this is the way I look at it. We may read something out of here. We may read something out of there. I may share a piece of my story. Fleece, having to live with me, may share a piece of her story. Something may touch somebody, or they may connect with somebody in the comments, and you just never know. So just share. Beep, beep, share. It's easy. Just send it out. And
no more bookmarks for you.
Teeter needs more. He just bought like 45 books. Did we just become best friends?
I think so.
Oh, that's funny. Naomi Johnson, Share Squad. Thank you.
Share Squad. See, look, under 10. It took me like 2 minutes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And if I missed you, I'm sorry.
Do you have an update
Hello.
on what you've been doing with the Share Squad?
Check you up.
Did you put it on Facebook or something?
I did, and I noticed a lot of people have sent their addresses already. Just a reminder, if you didn't see the other day, 10 people won a bookmark for being the most share squatter. So your names are listed on the Facebook group page. And then, yeah, just send your address to our email or on Messenger, and we'll get you a bookmark.
That's right. And if you remember, I put a poll up on the Recovering Addict private group of what book we should go through next, AA or It'll Never Happen to Me by Claudia Black. It is neck and neck. And if it's going to be that close, I'm just going to go with It'll Never Happen to Me by Claudia Black, because I bet a lot of you had already purchased that book and are going to dive into it. So we're probably steering towards It'll Never Happen to Me by Claudia Black. But don't worry, right after that, we are going to hit AA, the first half of that big book. We're going to break it down.
Yep. And that is its official name, Aaron, Share Squatter. If you are in the Share Squad, you're a Share Squatter. And Teeter, you're fired. Andrew said so.
He's fired. I may have exaggerated, Andrew.
Cal said just do them both.
I could do one Monday and one Sunday and one Tuesday. I could go through both of them.
Sweet. I will go through and look at all them addresses and send you guys a present.
Yeah, I noticed some people put their addresses in like a link, like in a comment. We need all the addresses in one place. So Felice posted the bookmark winners. Let's try to put them in there if we can, or
I said either send it to your messenger, or is that too not like in a comment, or email?
Email would be best.
Email is best. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, because this is a pain in the butt to check. It's a hard one. It's weird.
Okay, so I'll read a book and you'll read a book, and we'll read them simultaneously, and y'all just have to
figure it out.
Osmosis the information as best you can. Okay,
Just figure it out.
good idea, Merc. Good idea. Mayor's daughter said she ordered that book, so she said good.
Oh, cool. Okay, only 45.
How do you get on the Discord? I'll send you a link there.
That
Lori
is a
Waters.
good question, Lori Waters. The Discord is really cool. If you jump in there, it organized. Have you ever been part of a chat or a group text or even the Facebook feed, right? It's like texts, memes, music. Everything is just like, man, unorganized, right? Unorganized conversation. Our Discord is organized conversation. You have a text chat, you got a recovery content, you got a gratitude room, pics and memes, music, schedule. Everything is separated so you can go to and pick what you want to look at. And then you got where I put all our uploaded YouTube videos. And then the one I like is questions for the live. And that's where we're about to get to here in just a second. Then we got the prayer request room and the support room, and then the voice chat. You can jump in there and just bam, you're talking to somebody face to face in a completely different country. So if you ever need support, I recall our Discord group, Recovery in Your Pocket. And that's the way it is. And so this is now what time it is. Righty then. The question of the day comes from our very own Chelsea. This is a great question. And I know how the feeling is. She says, I find myself feeling shame when I think about making amends. A feeling of shame when she thinks about going to tell somebody she's sorry and make amends, right? So she goes, I guess my question is, did you ever have this issue? And if you did, what has helped you when it comes to dealing with shame while working on amends? So that word shame is what really drew my attention, because us as addicts need to understand the difference between shame and guilt. And so I'm going to bust out the book we've already gone through. I'm going to go through a little bit of the chapter titled Guilt and Shame, because we need, and it's very necessary to understand the difference between guilt and shame. Shame is no bueno for us addicts. Said it's commonly thought that addicts are guilt-ridden, right? Certainly when we hear an addicted person express remorse, we sense how deeply guilty this person feels. Addicts may indeed feel genuinely remorse, but often they feel not guilt, but shame. And there's a big difference. And the main distinction between guilt and shame is this. Pay attention now. The guilty person says, I feel guilty for something I have done. The shame-filled person says, I feel shame for what I am. So in your question, I find myself feeling shame. Now, is it because you feel that because of what you've done? Do you feel remorseful because of what you've done? Or because are you looking at yourself as who you think you are in the shame mode? If you feel guilty, you're feeling guilty about what you've done. Like Fleece and I, the fights and stuff that I did to her, I feel guilty for the actions. And so therefore I can actually make amends for those actions. But if I feel shame, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am such a piece of crap. How am I ever going to say sorry and make up for this when I am the biggest loser in the world? It's three character defects that we're going to get to. Says, why is the distinction so important to understand the difference between guilt and shame? It says, because people can apologize, make restitution, make amends, and ask for forgiveness for what they have done, but they can do little about what they are. Okay. About who you are, you can do nothing about. It says the alchemists during the medieval times spent their lives working in futility, trying to convert lead into gold. Okay. It's not possible to convert lead into gold. A person feeling shame doesn't even try, thinking, I cannot change my substance. Okay. I can't change who I am. If I am made up of inferior material, if I'm a person that's not as good as this person or that person, if I'm made up like this, there's no reason for me to make any effort to change myself. It would be an act of futility. Guilt, this is the cool thing. Guilt, which is a good emotion, and we should feel guilty for what we've done. Guilt, though, can lead to a corrective action. Shame leads to resignation and despair. So close analysis of addicted people often reveals very low self-esteem and deep-seated feelings of inferiority. Are you feeling guilt or are you feeling shame? Are you remorseful for your actions? Or are you feeling like you're an inferior, low self-esteem type of person? Because if that's the case, we need to understand the huge difference. And understanding that is, let me just get through this and then I'll get into our character defects. What? Is there some comments we need to say hi?
No,
Joey, what's
I was
up?
just laughing at you. just do it. Just do it. Just finish.
So circumstances that ordinarily cause feelings of guilt and emotional healthy people bring feelings of shame to addicts. And it's kind of like a short circuit in our brain. Suppose you flip the switch for the air conditioner and the lights go on, right? Or you turn on the dishwasher and the garbage disposal starts. Obviously, the wires are crossed. And that's what's happening with us addicts. What should produce guilt instead produces shame. Because addictive behavior often results in improper, irresponsible, and even immoral actions, there is ample reason for the addicts to develop much guilt. But instead, the addict develops profound shame. Shame is not only unproductive, but is counterproductive. Suppose you have an automobile that is operating well, but a part becomes defective. You would replace the defective part and the car would run well again. However, if you found your car was a lemon, each time you corrected a problem, something else went wrong, you might throw your hands up in disgust, right? You might justifiably conclude there is no purpose in getting the car repaired. And that is what's happening in addictive thinking. The profound shame that addicts feel results in their thinking that it is futile to change their ways. You feel like you're a lemon, right? What's the point of fixing this? If I fix it, it's just going to break again. It's just point. I'm such a low life that there's no reason to change. But guilt might have been undone by making amends, but amends cannot change the defective material addicts feel that they are made out of. So you have to change the guilt from the shame into guilt. And that's your perspective on who you really are. And we'll get into those character defects after this little story. So Ed, he's a 44-year-old electrician. He came to the rehab center for another from another city because he was afraid his alcoholism would be exposed by local treatments. So on admission, Ed was in deep remorse. How could I have brought such disgrace to the people I love most? How could I have done this to my family? I love them and I treated them badly. I'll kill myself before I take another drink. But later that night, the nurse calls this doctor, said Ed was acting strangely. And so he suggested to search his room, and the nurse found a bottle of vodka 3/4 empty. After all that he expressed, right? So Ed's remorse was not insincere. He really felt that way about the way he treated his family, but it represented shame rather than guilt. Ed felt that no matter what he did, he would always be an inadequate husband and father. And being sober, it's not going to make him an any better person. Screw it. Why get sober? I'm not going to become a better person for it anyway. Might as well have a drink. The pain and harm he had done to his family called for relief. And since he felt it would make no difference whether or not he drank, he reverted to the vodka that he had smuggled into the facility where he planned to get sober. That's addictive thinking. When you're thinking like that, when you're thinking that you will never be able to change, what's the point? Might as well drink, might as well pop pills, might as well do whatever. That's your addictive thinking. You're thinking incorrectly. Your wires are crossed. Psychologists, this is the solution. Psychologists and addiction specialists say that the 12-step programs change shame into guilt. The program helps addicts understand that they have a disease, and while addicts are held fully responsible for their behavior, they are not at fault for having that disease. Addicts are expected to follow their treatment program and be totally abstinent, however, as well as make major changes in their character traits. We start recognizing these character defects, and we make the changes necessary. And that's what I loved about that step 5 in our 24-hour a day AA reading. If you're afraid to make those amends and you're feeling guilty, write down your past in your step 4, find your sponsor in a safe place, read that to him. That's going to give you or her another little bit of strength to go and share, or to actually put humility in your pocket and say sorry and make amends to somebody. So as addicts find acceptance among other recovering people, so you go join a community, right? Hey, we're all alike. You guys have done pretty much, all the stories are pretty much the same. We all have different war stories. We're all at different ages, and we have maybe different choices of drugs and alcohol. But at the end of the day, just like Jonathan Moulton says, I'm no different than you. I drank, I used drugs, I woke up the next day promising I'll never do it again, and that night I did it again. That's us in a nutshell. So we find people who are like-minded, and we discover that people who have adhered to the program and made substantial changes in their character are respected and loved. So that people can look at people like me right now, right? My wife and I were on the rocks before I checked into a treatment center. She's in her own recovery program that's not really alcohol related, but she's seeking assistance and counseling from other women who are older than her on how to live with somebody that's bringing on the pain like me, right? And now, a year later, we're both happy, the household's peaceful, we're loving each other. How did that turn around? It's by taking the shame and reverting into guilt and making amends, right? I didn't have to go saying I'm sorry. I had to change my behavior. I have to show for this first year before I make any amends. Look, I mean what I'm saying here. So that when I finally do say I'm sorry, it's like, yeah, I could tell. You've been showing me for the last year, right? They begin to realize that they too may basically be a good person. Hey, I'm around these guys. They're living the program. They've made their amends. Their family's starting to, some amends don't go that way, but most do. And you'll find out that through making amends, your imagination is making it worse than it really is. And you'll start seeing like, hey, I relate to these people. They've done good, and they are good. Look at them. They're awesome, amazing people. I probably am too. So you start having that switch in you. So this is how shame changes into guilt. Doing a personal inventory, sharing it with another person, and beginning to make amends all helps to abate guilt. Addicts who work these steps become constructive persons and begin to receive the love and respect of their families and their community. You'll start getting that back. And so here I wrote down some points after I reading this chapter. You have to understand that the addiction is part of the problem. It's not who you are. It's just something you deal with. When somebody has a huge, thick glasses, you don't say, oh, look at that person. He's blind. That's who that person is. You know, it's a person who needs thick glasses. You know, your addiction is not who you are. It's just something you have to deal with. You need to understand that you really are an amazing person and you're not a POS. And this will start helping your self-esteem, right? And then you need to understand your character defects. And I wrote down 2 that I believe that go with this fear of making amends and in shame. Self-condemnation. You're blaming yourself inaccurately and you're putting yourself down. Self-condemnation, which leads into this negative thinking. So those are 2 character defects that you're high on the marks of that day. To inaccurately think negatively about a situation and circumstances in your life and a sense of hopelessness. So you have to work on those 2 character defects of self-condemnation and negative thinking. Turn your shame into guilt. You are amazing. You just got to fix a few things. That's what I wrote down. And then I put on this too. So do a step 4, do a step 5. Try telling some people about your past or your sponsor, somebody you're safe with. Understand the humility it takes to do that and the strength, and gain a little strength from doing that. And then the person, whoever you had in mind when you thought about making this amends, just go do it. Your imagination is making it worse than it's probably going to be. And then once you make those amends, you get a lot more support than you actually think you're going to get. Just like when I told everybody at work, you know, a lot of people are afraid of tell people that they're alcoholics or they're addicts, and they fear that, right? But at work, I went up to where I used to work up on base. I went in the director's office, right? The head of the program. I sat down in a meeting and I introduced myself. I'm LT and I'm an alcoholic. And then I told everybody, like, no, I'm not joking, you know? And it was like pats on the back. Wow, look at this. And all of a sudden people start coming to you like, hey, I got a friend. I got a friend, you know, I got a friend that needs help. What, you got any advice? It's not going to be as bad as you imagine. You need to just let go of the ego, let go of the pride, get some humility, and just do it. What?
They're trying to make me laugh. Stop it. It's serious conversations, Cherie.
This is recovery. This is not fun.
Was holding it in this whole time so I could finish. Oh yeah, you got the death stare. It's too late. I broke, Teeter. Breaking. Oh, it's all gone. Oh yeah, make him laugh. It's his turn.
I don't laugh. I'm talking about recovery. This is no joke. This is life or death, people.
Seriousness only.
We need to take care of our character defects.
Yes.
Stop having fun.
Character defects only. A lot of people related to what you was talking about, though. That shame feeling, self-sabotagey feeling.
So in the comments, drop it in there. Where do you feel you're at with your heart and your shame? Have you learned to turn your shame into guilt? Because with guilt, you can take action and fix it. With shame, you're just going to beat yourself up and bury your head in a pillow and end up eventually going back to using. Where are you at with that? What was your inventory like today? Did anybody do any spot checks on themselves? How did I handle the last few little hours of the day?
Hey, Brittany.
Shut up, Aaron.
Teresa, maybe your wish came true. Link you in with the jokes.
Oh, Link, you got a joke?
You got one?
I just thought of something. Recovering addict is an apprentice.
What?
Where you learn something new from someone.
Apprentice?
An apprentice.
I'm lost on that one, but
You learn something new from someone.
He's an apprentice of sort.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yes, and shout out to, how do you point to her?
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, do that.
This is Jenny. This is Michael Teeter's sponsor. Everybody, if you guys could, if you keep notes, write her down in your prayer book. She needs some prayers. We don't need to go into details about why, but just know that we are praying. Let me see if I can do this. Praying for Jenny.
Are you trying to I'm
trying to pet her.
frame it? Oh, I thought you were trying to frame it like this, like Madonna.
That's Vogue. That's voguing
Oh.
right there. That's booging. Hey, Chelsea, thank you for the content help here tonight. Thank you for your question. And then you asked how I dealt with it. How I dealt with it was learning what I just read to you. Coming out of all the guilt and shame of my past, and 2 times in my life, I've wrecked my life because of drugs and alcohol. I did a lot worse things in my early 20s than I did as a belligerent drunk in my late 30s. I hurt my family and my close friends feelings and stuff, but when I was in my 20s, there's some guilt and shame and some dark secrets there that I've had to flip to guilt and try to make. I mean, it was almost 20 years ago. How do I make amends with that? A lot of those things. And then making the amends, I just step out of my comfort zone. And the cool thing is your comfort zone's this big, right? You're stuck in the middle of your comfort zone. Once you step out of your comfort zone, it gets a little bigger. Step out again, it gets a little bigger. Public speaking's scary. You step out and do some public speaking, it gets a little better. Just jump out and say you're sorry. Start with the easy one first, the one that brings the less fear. Could be the mailman. Maybe you flipped him off or something. I don't know. I flipped off my mailman, I'm sure.
Sky wants to know if you quit vaping.
No.
He gets a new vape like every day.
He's got quite the collection these days.
Yes, I do.
Does that answer your question?
Linky has a joke, Teresa.
Did you hear the joke about pizza? Never mind, it's too cheesy.
Too cheesy.
Cheesy.
All righty then.
Get
So
in my belly.
we are on page 101 of addicted personality, because not only is our addictive thinking what needs to be corrected, it actually takes hold of our personality as we become severe addicts in stage 3, right? And now coming into recovery, we have to change our addictive thinking, which is changing our personality back into who we were before we became the addict.
Wait. Lish, is it fireworks or is it gunshots? I feel like you need to get back in your house.
She lives in Salt Lake. It's gunshots.
She's like, I remember the fireworks. And it's really gunshots? Jeez. Okay, go ahead.
So responsibility is a cornerstone to recovery. Responsibility, here's the definition of it: the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. The state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something. The opportunity or the ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. Responsibility. Take responsibility. That means you have a duty to deal with something that you are accountable or to be blamed for, right? You take responsibility for it. You own it. I did that. I own it. I'm not going to justify it, right? One of our character defects is self-justification, making excuses for your negative thoughts, feelings, and behavior, or needless explanation of yourself. Yes, I did that. I own it. I apologize. I'm going to make it better. Watch. And you change your actions. We may feel guilty about the way we've acted and about those we've hurt. This is part of recovery. It is part of having a conscience. It's a good thing. A conscience is a good thing. It's like when you twist your ankle or you start to, you get the knife a little too close and you start feeling the pain of the cut. You pull it away. If you didn't have that feeling, you just slice right into it. Your conscience, it helps you in that same sense. But we must not label ourselves bad people. That's where shame starts to happen. Are we bad in the scheme of things of what the Bible says in Romans? There's none, no, not one good. Yes. But in this guilt and remorse and shame and helping and being able to fix it, you take the shame and you turn it into guilt. You can't label yourself as a bad person because of what you've done. You realize you have a disease, a sin nature that you followed, right? And did what it said. And now you're going to work to be holy and righteous. So for this can restart the addictive process. Says, but we must not label ourselves as bad people, for this can reset the addictive process. In recovery, we learn to change our perspective on ourselves. Think about that. Meditate on that tonight if you're having trouble with shame and guilt, and start looking at yourself and change the perspective of the negative thinking, the self-condemnation. Start, if you need to, grab a pen and paper and write everything you do well. And if you're having trouble with it, Ask your friends and family, hey, will you just tell me something? And be like, don't go up to them like, I'm fishing, and make sure that, I would go up to somebody and be like, look, I'm not fishing for a compliment. Will you help me with my program and my mind? Will you just give me some good character trait about myself and write it down? You'll be surprised. A lot of people are going to tell you a lot more than you expect. In recovery, we'll learn to change our perspective on ourselves. Our illness, it can't be cured, but it can be treated if we are willing to work on it. Members of our support group who have been there can help with the healing process as we walk through a minefield of our shame. In recovery, we learn to monitor our actions, and we act in negative ways. We do not become shameful and defensive. Instead, we admit our mistakes and we make amends for them. Making amends does not just mean saying we're sorry. It means recognizing and thinking through our behavior. Because of how I acted, there is an inequality in our relationship. Now I need to find out from you what is needed for the relationship to become equal again.
Instead of just saying you're sorry, show that you're sorry through your actions.
That's right. Through your actions, bud. In the book, Drop the Rock, there's a really cool part in there. It was all, do you remember the times you said in your addiction, how many times have you said sorry with no intention of changing your actions? And now you can say you're sorry with not ever having to say sorry again because you've changed your actions. Say sorry and fix it so that you never have to say sorry again. In our addictions, how many times, oh, I'm sorry, went on right about our merry way in addictive thinking and the way we acted. Here's a little example. For a person who, during his addiction, continually blew up at his spouse, making amends would not mean saying, I'm sorry for blowing up at you. It would include admitting to his spouse that what he has done, recounting a specific incident, and then saying, I know this caused you great pain and frustration. What do you need from me to make up for this? If her request, now this is to you non-addicts, if your husband's been coming at you or vice versa, if we come up and we say, we're sorry, how can I make this up to you? And if their request is within realistic limits, we would act to make restitution. By making amends, he commits himself to change his behavior. By claiming responsibility for our actions, we may win back some of the relationships we'd lost in our addiction. We are all human, and we act foolishly from time to time. But shame is a distortion of reality that makes it impossible for us to make amends. In recovery, we learn how to see ourselves realistically as humans. Is this ringing true to anybody?
They wanted to know if we were going to do the 12 steps. Teresa wanted to know if anybody wanted to recite the 12 steps this Tuesday.
Is somebody ready?
And just so y'all know, the Discord link I shared out expired, so I shared a new one. Apparently,
Teresa, does that mean you want to
expire?
The ones you're getting are expired?
The old link I had to invite people to Discord expired? No, I already sent a new one.
Okay.
I got it.
I'll drop that link. I'm going to drop that link in. Oh, you're not ready? Oh, come on.
What?
Somebody do it.
Aubrey will do it.
Aubrey's going to do it?
I just told him to.
Okay, I'm dropping this link. If you have the guts, if you got the grits to get on here live and quote the 12 steps from memory, click that link. I dare you. And in the meantime, we're going to listen to the Cassie's quote of the day.
Good evening, my Recovering Addicts family. I'm here tonight with that motivational quote on Recovering Addicts. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rami. And as always, you guys know what to do. Let's bring it together and continue to spread that love.
Yeah. So I say I have no takers. Aubrey says I can't. Aubrey, you still haven't even made the first video from like 17 months ago. that you said we were going to make. John V in the house. What's up, brother?
Amanda said she's almost ready next Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. Come on. Merc, I know you know him. What about you, Jerry? Come on. Yeah, that's on point, huh? Good job, Cassie. What about you, Epi? You dare to get on here and quote the 12 steps? Let's do this. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
It's not scary. That comfort zone thing he was just talking about, and then it gets bigger. Oh, good. It worked, Lori. Lori was having problems getting in Discord. That's what the link was for. So don't worry,
John
all
says
you
it's
who
doing
are
good.
already in
It's been
Discord.
an important day. Oh, yeah? What's this importance mean, brother? I've been having a great time here at SOAR. I'll tell you what. School of Addiction Recovery. Is that how it sounds?
Jake's walking through the woods. You got your hammock?
I'm walking through the
order
woods.
me
Of course
one.
he has his hammock. Are
Come
you
on,
kidding
order me
me?
one, and then we'll all just hammock. If I had a hammock, I'd hammock in the morning.
We're going to buy hammocks like
I'd
tonight.
hammock in the evening. I'd hammock all over this land if I had a hammock.
You know what blew me away is when we went out there with Jake and he set up his hammock and he was like, I'm done. I was like, what?
It took like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was like 2 seconds. His hammock was up.
It was pretty. And then he put it away in like 3 seconds.
All right, Teeter, I'm going to hold you to that. You're going to dive head first into this. Good boy. I'm proud of you. Oh, he's got a camera too. All right. It's getting dark out, right? Try to do the lowest shutter speed you can with the lowest ISO you can. And don't make blurry pictures, bro. It's dark outside.
Recovering.
I'd be
addict
guessing, to be
hammocks
honest.
coming
Raid
soon.
check. Ooh. Merc.
That would be cool.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, that's genius.
All right, I'll try it. Let's see if I can do this. I haven't even looked at them in a couple days. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol or drugs, that our lives had become unmanageable, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, admitted to ourselves, to another person, and to ourselves and to God the exact nature of our wrongs. We're entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character, asked God humbly to remove all our shortcomings, made a list of the peoples we had harmed made a list of people we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all, made a list of people that we had harmed, made amends to such people that we had harmed, and did so as long as we didn't cause harm to them or others. 10 is continue to take inventory, our personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11 is sought to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying for his will for us and the power to carry that out wherever possible and the power to carry that out. And then 12 is after having a spiritual awakening due to these steps, we carried this message to those who still suffer.
Ta-da! He did
Sought
great.
through.
You
Okay.
did
Wherever. Thank you, Lish.
You did a good job. And Marcus, what's up? Marcus, you better be working them steps too, man.
I put
How are
words
you doing?
around what the 20 months was all about in the reflection. 18 years that preceded it had me shaking it. Oh, that's good, brother. Stepping out of that comfort zone. I love it.
Comfort zone. Comfort zone. Teresa said that was way better than I could do.
Speaking of comfort zones,
You guys are all great.
What takes you out of your comfort zone, Linky?
Thinking that 12 years went by like that, and here I am today.
12 whole years,
You
everybody.
paused way too long at thinking.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thinking.
Do y'all have rituals that you do in your recovery? Do you have things that set you up for success? Now, remember, what is my saying? Or Aristotle actually said it. Nature abhors a vacuum. Concentrate on that one. Write that down. Read research. Nature abhors a vacuum. A vacuum, right? What causes a vacuum? I like to always use the water pump illustration. You push down, and as soon as you pull up, it creates a vacuum, a suction. And nature hates that. So it pulls water up in there, right? You remove air out of something and it crushes cans. Nature hates a vacuum. It's the same thing with our minds. Once we remove something, and what we are doing is removing negativity, right? We're removing our addictive thinking. We're removing our addictive personality. We're removing our time spent being an addict, using drugs. That's time spent, right? Literal physical time spent every day using drugs. We stop that. And now what do? We're either going to be vacuum sucked back into that old way, or we're going to replace it with new things. And that's rituals and recovery. And that's how you start replacing it.
Ooh, move the vacuum and clean something else.
Yeah.
Sidebar to camera tips real quick.
Don't know what happened with those settings, and it would not shoot. Just said busy. Oh, just shut it off. You probably fired off a whole bunch of, which means the card's reading, trying to write down what you just did. So it's trying to compute and then go to the SD card. Just give it a second. Shut it off, restart it. Maybe you need to delete everything off of there too.
Here's Licious ritual.
Get up, drink coffee.
For work. Drink coffee. Come on. Drink coffee.
Cheers, mate.
Coffee, coffee, coffee. Oi, oi, oi. I'm Australian. Yep. Coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee.
So in recovery, rituals are as important to our renewal as they were to the addictive process. Finding new rituals is just as important in your recovery as it was your rituals in your addiction. And we learn to develop positive, self-enriching rituals as a result. Instead of going down to the bar for a couple drinks with the gang as an addictive ritual, we go to a meeting and talk about the 12 steps with other recovering people. We connect to the principles of recovery, to our own spiritual centers, to the spirit of others around us, and to the higher power. These positive rituals are about being connected, about filling our lives with meaning. They are about identification and commitment. And you do it with a group of people. Why? Right there. We recover better together.
This way.
Many recovering addicts have a simple ritual. Each morning or evening, they read about recovery. Then they meditate on the reading. This personal ritual ties them to the recovery process.
Good job, Brian. That's what he does.
Starting with a day of prayer and meditation. Attaboy.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up nightly with an inventory. That's working your program. That is replacing the out with the old, in with the new. I love it.
Forget the past.
Addiction is also about having few choices because the addict is focused on the trance and the specific rituals leading up to it. Recovery, on the other hand, is about choices. The rituals of recovery teach us the behaviors that help us exercise our choice. And by practicing these rituals, we bind ourselves to new beliefs and values of the program. We focus on growth. We commit ourselves to caring and nurturing ourselves and others. We commit ourselves to caring and nurturing ourselves and to others. You care for yourself, you're going to be able to. Through our rituals and the symbolic language used in these rituals, we learn to develop and commit ourselves to the language and lifestyle of love for ourselves and for others. As we develop our rituals, we learn to act according to the specific code and conduct of recovery. We treat ourselves and others in a respectful, nurturing way. Do you treat yourself in a respectful, nurturing way? I hope you do. We make amends for our past mistakes. We continue to do whatever is necessary in the present. We take time to reflect and to visit and listen to others. Take time to visit, reflect, and listen to others? What? We use prayer or other means to connect to our higher power on a regular basis. And we go out into the world and we practice these spiritual principles in all our affairs. Jerry had a question?
Yeah. Where did it go? What is it with everyone in coffee?
It's delicious, bro. We're addicts. I always have to be consuming something. I'm either vaping or drinking coffee or Monsters.
And you're also consuming knowledge.
Yeah, this is the best thing to consume. All right, last
Brain
paragraph.
food.
The rituals of recovery bind us to parts of the world from which we receive healing, nurturing, and love. Positive rituals are about faith and life, and by engaging in them, recovering addicts connect themselves to others and start to have faith in people and themselves again. By turning to their rituals in times of trouble, recovering addicts can reduce the personal stress and, despite struggles, can seek opportunities for growth. They rely on these rituals to help them find meaning.
Ooh, Sheree says no support. If you don't have support, you can try to support yourself in your own mind.
Yeah.
I think she's talking about something about Aubrey and some bears.
Mm.
Did you go off into the woods? Is there bears in Australia? Just koala bears.
No, koalas aren't bears.
I hear it called a 12th step program, not a 13th step. I will go over that one of these days if you want. 13th step, don't worry about it. 12 steps. 12, 12, 12.
Epi said the 13th step is repeat.
Oh, there you go. The 13th
like
step
that.
repeat. That's good.
That's a better 13th step.
All right, real quick, we got to get through this because this is going to get us into part 4 of our book right at the end, and it is family and addiction. But right now, we want to finish this section off: recovery in the world. This has to do with step 1.
This is the yes, right? We're talking rituals post-using.
Yes.
Yes.
Positive, healthy rituals.
Yep.
Many people come to depend in a healthy way on the community. What does it say in step 1? We admitted we were powerless over what, right? The first word of the first step of any program is we. Why is that? It is through we of the group process that we feel confident that we can recover from our illness, not by ourselves, but within the recovering community. We recover better together, right?
Oh.
Not by ourselves.
Did we ever do the montage?
What's that? Oh yeah, I got that. I just haven't finished the intro to go with it.
Oh.
Yes, I have that
Sorry,
video that
sidebar.
I've been doing, the recovery better together thing. I just got to finish the intro. I'm making it a part of the new intro instead of the dun, 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 I'm LT. I'm I'm doing a whole new intro. So it makes a lot of sense that we is the first word in the first step of any 12-step program. As recovering addicts, we become we-centered instead of power-centered or pleasure-centered. Power-centered or pleasure-centered is when you become isolated. Me, 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 me. If you can't give me what I want, if I can't have the power over you, or you ain't giving me the pleasure, I don't want none to do with you. We become we-centered, not pleasure or power-centered. We make decisions on how to act by asking ourselves whether or not we would feel good talking about it with our friends. We invest our energy in the group conscious and eventually develop a personal conscience and principles that work for us and others. In other words, we learn to have an interdependent relationship with our community. Ultimately, we see this as a worldwide community. I love it.
Worldwide. Shout out to the world.
We learn to be good citizens, first as citizens of the group, then as citizens of the larger community. We sense the we inside ourselves are glad to participate fully and joyfully in the world again. So how does it start? A recovering addict volunteers early at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, right? They make the copy for the group, and then this person notices how good it feels. He remembers the slogans of the program. You can't keep anything you don't give away. He remembers the stories of the founding members of Alcoholics Anonymous, who, whenever they felt the urge to drink, would try to help other alcoholics in need. He learns that by helping others, he helps himself to be human. It says, this last little chunk, it says, it is written in the scriptures, I give you life, I give you death. Choose life. This finally is what recovery from addiction is all about. Choose life.
I just thought something. When you feel the urge to drink water.
Water is the true adult beverage. When you're little, you think coffee is. When you're in your 20s, you think it's alcohol. Then you get older, and it's water.
Choose life. Speak life. That's what it is. a good song. Toby Mac. Shout out to you.
You guys ready to pray?
John, where's it at?
We recover better together.
In the Discord, in the Facebook, and the
Yeah, so if
And
this is
do
your first time
YouTube?
here, thanks for watching. We appreciate that a whole ton. You can connect with us in the private Facebook group, in the Discord. Make sure you jump in there. It's recovery in your pocket.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was looking at cat meats the other day. My dad said, you have all the knowledge in the world.
And you're looking at cats. All right.
Owie.
Okay, ready? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Anything else? All right.
And for Jenny. Pray for Jenny. Oh, big brother.
Thank you, David.
Angelo. That's my big brother. I love him.
If I can make it a year, so can everyone else.
Ah, so proud of you.
You're already wanting to quit. Dig for that push inside of yourself. It's there. That's why you're here. Amen, brother.
So proud of you, big brother.
Love it. And David, thank you. Glad you're here. Anything we can do to help, please reach out. Carried the message. They are examples. That's right, John. We recover better together by staying safe, staying sane, staying strong, and staying sober. You're worth it. Good night, family. Love you. That's right. And today is what? What is today? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We will be back Thursday picking up on part 4 of our book, Addictive Personality. Until then, y'all, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.
together.